Hello everyone and welcome back to the Fluctus channel. Since the First World War, mankind was using aircraft from ships. But in most cases, they were used as spotters to find other ships at sea. Only during World War II did the value of aircraft carriers become apparent. From the Battle of Midway, these vessels have become crucial to any blue water navy. These days, aircraft carriers like the Nimitz and Gerald R. Ford class have become floating cities with hefty price tags and unequaled projections of military might. After the attack on Pearl Harbor by the Japanese Imperial Navy on December 7, 1941, it was decided to attack the Japanese mainland as soon as possible. 16 B-25B Mitchell medium bombers took off from the USS Hornet and USS Enterprise on April 18, 1942, and attacked targets in Tokyo. About 2 months later, the U.S. Navy fought and defeated the Japanese Navy at Midway. All 4 Japanese carriers were sunk. On the other hand, the U.S. only had 3 carriers when the battle started and only lost one of them, the Yorktown. The USS Hornet and the USS Enterprise survived the day. When the new USS Enterprise was launched in 1960, it was the first aircraft carrier in the world to use nuclear power. Flight decks of U.S. Navy supercarriers are one of the busiest places on any ship. Aircraft are constantly landing and taking off, and there are vehicles on deck. For that reason, the U.S. Navy utilizes a system of colored jackets to effect better control. Each color denotes what those sailors are responsible for. Brown jackets, for example, are worn by plane captains. They're like crew chiefs in the U.S. Air Force, taking control of the aircraft and its maintenance when not flying. Green jerseys represent a wide range of crew members, including catapult and arresting gear crews. Cargo handling personnel, and photographers. One will also find the green jackets on deck when underway replenishment is performed, using forklifts to move the cargo off deck. Fuel specialists, also known as fuelies, or even grapes because they wear purple, handle all fuel aboard the vessel. Not only do these dedicated sailors refuel every single aircraft on the vessel, but they are also responsible for storing and managing the fuel aboard. The undertaking is massive if one considers that a Nimitz-class carrier can store up to 3 million gallons of jet fuel in its tanks. Every single gallon must be safeguarded and accounted for. Of course, they are also responsible for ensuring that safety standards are maintained when working with highly flammable jet fuel. On U.S. aircraft carriers, sailors who handle weapons and explosives are called red shirts. Some of them are Aviation Ordnance Men, or AO, who oversees the ship's weapons arsenal and ensure it is handled and managed safely. Their jobs include storing, servicing, inspecting, and loading different kinds of aircraft munitions, from small arms ammunition to advanced air-to-air or air-to-surface weapons. They also take care of the countermeasure systems and pyrotechnics on the planes. Furthermore, they act as crash and salvage crews and explosive ordnance disposal, or EOD teams who oversee putting out fires on the flight deck, saving people and responding to possible explosive threats. They ensure that the embarked air wing has a lethal offensive capability and that the flight deck is safe and can be used. On the flight deck, there are also blue and yellow jackets. Blue jackets are responsible for general labor tasks on the flight decks. One will find them placing wheel chocks at aircraft wheels, carrying tie-down chains, and tying down aircraft to the deck. One will also find them busy with the handling of general cargo. Yellow jackets are part of the control crew for everything that happens on deck. They are plane directors and aircraft handling officers. They will indicate when aircraft can taxi and where to park. Therefore, one will find that the person who launches the aircraft, the catapult officer or shooter, also wears yellow. Yellow shirts fulfill much of the same role as aircraft marshaling officers in the U.S. Air Force. One of the primary fighters used by the U.S. Navy is the FA-18 Super Hornet. When a Super Hornet is fully loaded, it weighs as much as 66,000 pounds, or 29,937 kilograms. To get aircraft airborne requires a special system known as the CATOBAR, or Catapult-Assisted Takeoff but Arrested Recovery. Aircraft are attached to a catapult, which runs the length of the launch deck. Once the aircraft weight has been confirmed, the correct pressure steam is used to launch the plane clear of the flight deck at the appropriate takeoff speed. Once the aircraft needs to land, it uses a lowered tailhook, which then snags one of the 4 arresting cables across the deck, and the plane is brought to a standstill. In the Gerald R. Ford-class aircraft carrier, the system used is called EMALS, short for Electromagnetic Aircraft Launch System, which uses no steam. Although aircraft carriers like the Nimitz class have 2 main flight deck areas, one for takeoff and one for landing, there are 4 catapult systems. 2 of the catapults are on the bow, and 2 more are located on the angled landing area, also known as the waist. The carrier can launch 4 aircraft in quick succession, but can only land one at a time. All air operations aboard carriers like the USS Abraham Lincoln are monitored and controlled from the island. The island is the superstructure to the side of the flight deck, and primary flight control, or PRIFLY, is situated on the highest level. under the pry fly is the bridge of the vessel. There is one more critical deck under the bridge called the flag bridge. Another essential structure rises out of the flight deck of the vessel when required. It is called the Integrated Catapult Control System, or BUBBLE. From this safe vantage point, catapult teams can launch aircraft safely and out of the elements. Arrested landings are the standard method of bringing landing aircraft to a standstill. There are 4 arresting wires stretched across the deck. Pilots are meant to snag the second or third wire. But any of the 4 snagged means the landing was successful. Landing aircraft are brought to a standstill using a combination of energy absorbers and a water twister, which gradually retard the wire's rearward movement. This system ensures the aircraft and pilot are not exposed to dangerous shocks. Once aircraft have completed their sorties or require non-routine maintenance, they are moved to the main hangar deck of the carrier. For this reason, they are maneuvered onto one of the 4 aircraft elevators of the carrier. Flight elevators can lift and lower the heaviest aircraft from the hangar deck and down again. These massive lifts are powered by the ship's power provided by its nuclear reactors. On the newer Gerald R. Ford carrier, there are only 3 aircraft elevators. On a Nimitz-class aircraft carrier, the main hangar deck is where the ship's planes are maintained. This large enclosed space takes up most of the ship's length and can hold many planes. It also protects the maintenance areas from the weather and sea conditions. It basically works like a huge garage or workshop where planes can be kept, fixed, inspected, and kept functional. Here, a squadron of engineers, mechanics, electricians, and ordnance technicians work around the clock to ensure the carrier air wing is ready to go. Aircraft carriers exist for the main reason of being able to destroy aircraft, ships, and land targets, or to support other forces in doing this. For that reason, it needs munitions. The ship's weapons and aircraft ordnance are kept in the magazine, which is deep inside the ship's hull, below the waterline. This spot is essential for 2 main reasons: stability and safety. The deck crew of the magazine is informed of which weapons must be prepared and sent up to the appropriate aircraft on the flight deck. This is accomplished using ordnance elevators. Ordnance personnel are responsible for running the ship's magazine and are highly trained to prevent accidents that could endanger the entire vessel. This is not only where munitions are safely stored, but also where modifications can be made. JDAMs, or Joint Direct Attack Munitions, are kits that are attached to the Mark 80 series bombs to turn them from dumb bombs into smart bombs. The JDAM kit enables the bomb to be guided via GPS signals. The process for attaching these kits happens in an area adjacent to the magazine. U.S. aircraft carriers are also vessels where a large portion of the crew needs places to relax and perform essential tasks like shopping. Right below the flight deck, but above the hangar deck, is the gallery deck. On this deck, carriers have shops where sailors can buy almost everything they need. These shops are run by trained ship supply personnel and are stocked whenever the ship receives its underway replenishment, also known as UNREP. Sailors are also cared for in terms of the fact that these shops offer most goods at a discount. Once a sailor has done their shopping, they could pop into the Starbucks, also located on the gallery deck. Sailors adapted and trained in preparing real Starbucks coffee stands ready to serve their shipmates. They have been trained by Starbucks personnel, so you know their beverages are good. Not only does Starbucks sell delicious coffees, but it provides sailors with some of the niceties of home. This, in turn, ensures that their morale stays high, which is crucial in running a ship like an aircraft carrier.
This is benefiting sailors by giving them the hometown feeling, I guess. Starbucks you usually don't find on ships, especially warships.
As can be expected, every ship needs access to a dentist. On U.S. Nimitz-class and Gerald R. Ford carriers, it is no different. Dentistry is not a luxury, and most people do not enjoy dentist visits, but the service is critical. Therefore, there is always a dentist on call or duty, especially for those pesky dental emergencies. With the level of professional training available in the U.S., you just know that you are receiving the best possible care.
The way he talks to patients is absolutely amazing. I think he makes patients feel so comfortable when they're in the chair. They're not worried about anything when it comes to, getting numbed up or taking a shot, anything like that. That he's really great at calming them down.
If a sailor requires a haircut, not only is the service available, but on vessels like the USS Nimitz, the barber shop has a very unmilitary feel to it. Not only are sailors required to have neatly trimmed hair, but the barbershop experience can also be a pleasant one. Also situated on the gallery deck, the barbershop is not only decked out in good-looking furniture, but even the barbers wear uniforms that make the whole experience pleasant.
Walking into the barbershop today, fantastic. Probably the nicest looking barbershop that I have seen on a Navy ship.
Sailors also need to relax, and one way is by arranging a swim call. A swim call is a long-standing naval tradition that allows the crew to swim in the ocean right from the ship. This is often done to boost morale during long deployments at sea. A swim call is made in a carefully chosen place, usually in calm, warm water. Before the event, the ship's sonar scans the water to ensure no sharks or other marine predators are nearby. Once the swimming is done, and if conditions allow, the ship regularly hosts other events for crew relaxation. One way is to have talent competitions or even a competition to choose the ship's own singing idol. Ship officers typically judge these competitions, and the crew seems to enjoy them. But it also contributes to stress relief and enhances esprit de corps. If singing is not quite your thing, all types of other classes can be arranged. How about a real Latin salsa dancing class? Not only are the crew treated to some fun, but they pick up moves that they can use on dry land after the voyage. The United States Nimitz and Gerald R. Ford class aircraft carriers are some of the largest and most advanced warships sailing the global oceans. With crews of about 6,000 and almost 100 aircraft, it takes dedicated teams to run both the flight deck, hangar deck, and other parts of these cities at sea. Not only does the U.S. Navy provide opportunities for their sailors to relax, but they also ensure that they have access to top-class dental facilities, shops, and even a barbershop. And for their taste of home, sailors can pop into the ship's Starbucks and forget about military life just for a moment. That's the end of this video. We hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any of our new content. See you next time.